Hi. So today we want to talk about an interesting thing, which is if your partner or someone you care about is going through a really heavy trigger or struggling through something or having a really hard time, is it possible, and how do you go about accompanying someone you care for through their process or in their process while maintaining healthy boundaries internally and externally?
I find it especially complicated if I'm triggered too. Like if you're going through something and I'm taking it personally, or I'm also going through a whole other stuff. Like for example, when we're underslept, right? Like one of our kids is sick or whatever and we're both depleted, it's harder for me to have like compassion and aperture for your stuff because I'm already so overwhelmed with mine.
Oh, I would say like, until you're really good at this, don't even try that. No, seriously, because this is also like, can you show up for someone who's going through something without getting triggered yourself, and while you're maintaining your own boundaries, right?
I think it comes down to like a base of self-love and self-compassion. To like, because many humans are going through something unpleasant or uncomfortable many times, right? So like a good dose of self-patience and soothing. And that gives some space, right? Some flexibility to accept the other person, to open ourselves up for this other person, for our significant other. And then I think something that's really useful is zooming out and saying, okay, in this moment and in this space, this person is feeling this. Like I can see you're overwhelmed, or you're depressed, or you're upset, angry about something. An attitude of service. How can I accompany you? How can I be of help?
Right. But also holding that other part of it, which is I have self-respect and I don't deserve to be treated badly, abusively, rudely, and although that's a personal tolerance, as well. So some people can handle bigger waves of like discharge, right, from the other person, but some people can't. And so it's like, okay, so let's say you're going through something really bad, someone really pissed you off or whatever, can I take it in, because you really need to talk about it, but without you being an asshole to me, right? Or without you being hurtful to me because you feel bad and you're putting that out,
Yeah.
So I think it's like this really interesting balance, I think it's very hard to do, although with work, if you can do it, like if we could do it for each other, or when we do it for each other, it's a beautiful thing too, because it's like, It's accompanying someone in a storm, without getting stuck in the storm yourself, and not just being like supportive of the other person without having to be enrolled in it, and without the other person and the other person still respecting you and being able to deal with heavy shit, because there's so much heavy shit anyways in life. So it's like, isn't it cool, or wouldn't it be cool if your relationship can also embody your significant other having a really hard time, right?
Well, I find it very useful to be assertive. Like, I see you're tired, I'm sorry, it looks like it sucks. Right now, I'm really tired. If you want, we can talk about it in half an hour. Because that implies recognizing my exhaustion, my need for a little rest, compassion and empathy for what you're going through, and an aperture for you to feel accompanied.
And taking yourself into account. So it's like, okay,
Yes.
I'm receiving you, but you're not the only person in the equation.
Right. It's checking many different boxes, right? And also, when I was hearing you talk just now, it came to mind, I've been encountering in my reads this notion of exposing ourselves slowly to more like distress or discomfort to be able to better withstand unpleasant scenarios without it becoming really triggering or traumatic or, burning you out. And that I think this is a relationship is a place where you can see the benefits of this. You know, like, because if your partner is going through a lot of shit and you're going to some degree of shit, then that exposure that your soul has had to discomfort and then traversing it back to safety helps you to be like, oh, I'm in a really uncomfortable moment with my significant other right now. I know I'll be okay. I know we'll be okay. Let's see what this is.
Yeah, your shitty places and your shitty spaces are still welcome. You know, it's like you don't have to hide that part, and you're allowed to be in a bad place or have a really bad day or be going through stuff as long as you're being respectful, you know, and not being, you know, just crapping all over the place. You know, it's a really cool thing because this is one of the this is kind of the last thing I want to say about this. But this is one of the things that we've worked really hard on is expanding kind of the arena of what our relationship is to include discomfort, to include the spaces that we normally would be like, oh, I can't deal with that, or I'm already dealing with so much stuff, and like, that, deal with your own stuff. Go, you know, and it's like, it's cool. It's cool to have a little bit more space to have kind of more of us inside the space and be like, okay, a lot of the parts of us are harder. They're more prickly, or they're harder to swallow, or they need more space, or they need more work. And it's like, you know, it's an investment, right?
Yeah, because it also helps yourself and your partner to remove shame from, you know, like tiredness and fear and pain and anger, and just be like, you know what, these are my emotions right now. I don't want to hurt you with them. I do want like your loving presence in them. Where can we meet? Right?
Yeah.
Well, thanks you for
listening.
watching. More to come.
Ciao.